Hello there, everyone. Welcome. My name is Coach Staci Anne, and you've joined my meetup group. Tonight's topic is we're going to be talking about confidence building tools. So let's get right to it, because I don't know about you, but I hate when people start taking too much time to get right to the point. So I'd like to start doing that as soon as possible. So just to know about me, I'm a former teacher. I'm a certified teacher in the state of New Jersey. I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist, but I speak from my own life experience, and I do have multiple master's degrees. And I am very motivated to help people and coach them in the areas of psychology, careers, and life coaching. So I hope that you will find this information useful. All right, so let's talk about addressing the root causes of low confidence or having low self-confidence or possibly no self-confidence. I'm a person who definitely believes in getting to the root causes of things. Sometimes what happens is maybe we're having a problem. Maybe somebody's making a comment and we don't particularly know what the real cause is, or maybe somebody's giving us a hard time and we don't know really why that's happening. So what I believe is we can't fix it until we get to the real root cause of it, and I kind of call that doing some digging. We have to dig. I don't believe in surface solutions to things. I believe in finding out the real problem, which often we have to kind of go back in time or really look at why things are happening in a certain way and how those affect our behaviors and our decisions. So some of the root causes that we have when we're lacking confidence or we're feeling badly about ourselves, we get afraid that we're looking stupid or being put down, or maybe we're being judged, or we make a mistake or we fail, or we're being rejected or being injured or physically hurt. Unfortunately, that's on another scale. But when any of these things can lead to low self-confidence. We feel like, oh, we look stupid if we try and do something. That's lacking confidence. That's not showing that we can do it. We should never be afraid to look quote unquote stupid. We should never be afraid to be who we are. We should never be afraid that just because we're being judged means that I can't feel good about myself. That's not true at all. We can't be afraid to try and do something because we might be rejected. So what? It's that action where we get stopped from doing things, and that's really going to take a negative toll in our lives. So what that leads to is what we have as my evil little 4-letter F word, which is the word fear. So all of these things create fear. So when we are afraid due to low self-confidence or low self-esteem, that breeds fear, and that makes us afraid to try and do things. Where, if I go back for a second, we're afraid or fearful to do something because we might look stupid. We're fearful to do something because we may be put down. We're fearful to do something because we might be judged. We're fearful that we're going to make a mistake. We're fearful to be rejected. Now, what I used to teach, if you want to know, is I taught middle school math, and I get really passionate about teaching math because I find that math is so important, because it's really teaching logic and it's really all these thinking skills. So what I believe in is building confidence in students so that they aren't afraid to make a mistake or aren't afraid to try when they're trying to solve a math problem. Now, fear is like a breeding ground for low self-confidence and all kinds of problems that we can have in our lives. Fear breeds laziness. So laziness talks about then we don't face the fear. It's like, just look for the easy way out. How are we going to go around this? What are we going to do? We're just going to settle because we're afraid. We don't have the confidence to try. Procrastination. We wait to do things because we're fearful or we're afraid. Tells us put it off until we feel more comfortable. Like it comes down to that comfort level where I can't do it until it feels right. I'm going to constantly put it off. Now, what's the opposite of that? What helps to build our confidence is taking action. So we need to know to combat things like procrastination, taking action. We're going to make it happen no matter what. We're going to take some kind of action, even if it's wrong, and we're not going to feel bad if we make a mistake. Fear breeds, and it's also demotivating. When we're afraid, we are not motivated. So this is where I always come back to that balance, and you'll hear me talk about it. I talk about teaching students math, where they're afraid to make a mistake, so they're not motivated to do their schoolwork or homework or anything like that, because they're afraid of making a mistake. And that's where you know that the confidence is lacking. And this happens or comes up to us all the time in our lives. And I feel like in schools, part of my passion is, bless you, is that I want to I want a confidence building class in school, where you're purposely building confidence, which then also in turn leads to more motivation. When we feel confident, we're more motivated to try and do things. But it's really easy to become unmotivated. It's easy to let other people demotivate us, let other people's opinions hurt us, let other people's opinions stop us, let other people's actions make us think that we can't take action because we won't please them. Fear also breeds obstacles. It becomes easy to find reasons why we can't or shouldn't do something. Now, there's also statistics and data why you can look at things. And I was actually having a debate one time with a former coworker that I said, I wanted to start a business. And he said that, he had all kinds of reasons why it's so bad to start a business. And he had all his statistics. And I started arguing with him that that's not really, and it made me just not his desire, and that's fine too. But in some instances, people are stopped because, they find all these reasons not to do something, why something won't work out. And that can also be obstacles that we put in the way because we're like, oh, well, I'm following this or that, and this data says this, and this business won't work out for this reason, this won't work out. Well, what if you address those reasons and figured out ways around it, right? Find ways around the obstacles to make something that you want to have happen, find a way to make it work out. Did we find ways? Well, here's reasons why it won't work, but here's reasons why it will work. And are we stopping ourselves from doing things and stopping ourselves from developing when we could be maybe developing ourselves into something else and thinking of other great ideas that can lead to more things. It's kind of like this little balancing act. Where should we be? What should we be doing? Should we try or not? Well, I think we should try, and then that can morph us into maybe some other type of area that we may not have thought about before. So basically, and it's like, well, Stacy, but I don't know. But all I'm saying is watch who or what you let dictate what you should or should not do, and make sure that you aren't letting fear create obstacles. So sometimes we may look at statistics or data or listen to other people's experiences, and are those real obstacles? Can you or can you not deal with those obstacles? Or is it really fear that's making you not do something? So make sure that you're weighing those things carefully, because sometimes we don't think about it. Even my former coworker, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I think because he was a very smart person. I'm like, I think you might be allowing fear stop you and playing it completely safe. So sometimes it's good for us and sometimes it's not. So I just challenge you to make sure you're challenging yourself. So what else is a confidence buster? Well, I just put media here because it can be media in so many different ways. It can be media, can be television, social media, the internet. When we sit and just looking at magazines, people on their social media, I'll say, we're brainwashed to think that we have to look this way or that way, or do this or that according to what the media or people tell us. And I always say about media, if we're thinking about, say we're thinking about Hollywood, well, I always say those people don't live in the real world, in my view. They don't have 9-to-5 jobs. They don't have to worry about putting food on the table. All they need to worry about is how they look, because that is their career. So when we try to compare ourselves to these people, I think it's really not fair. And then we're constantly now looking at this Facebook, Twitter. I mean, does it ever stop? Do we really need to be that informed? Do we really need to see every detail of everyone's life? Do we really need to? Well, the answer is no, we don't. I don't need to know what this person was wearing. I don't need to know what food they ate. I don't care. We need to kind of like put some of these things in perspective, but we need to think about there's not really a plan of what anybody should do at any certain time. That is all created. Now, I was looking at an article the other day, and I thought it was very interesting. There is a man in Ohio who just became a doctor, a physician in the ER at the age of 51. And his name escapes me, but if you look up man turning 51, becoming a physician. He used to be an auto mechanic, and in his late 30s, he started taking some medical courses. He was working on his degree, and he ended up going to medical school and becoming a physician. Now, this isn't traditionally done. It's often discouraged, like, oh, you're over 40, you can't become a doctor, or you can't do this or that. And here's what I say. Says who? You're kind of like, when you jobs like a doctor, a lawyer, you're basically, that's what you are for life. Like, your identity becomes a doctor. So you can basically practice medicine until you die. I mean, I think it's really unfair for people to dissuade people or not allow them to choose that or change to that career midlife. I think it's really unfair. So those are just some things to think about, that just because you're not on a traditional path doesn't mean anything is wrong with you, doesn't mean you should be on a traditional path. And maybe if people are making you feel bad, maybe those are people you shouldn't be sharing things with, because you definitely want to find people who are going to build you up and know that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You are you, and that's all that matters. So how do we get rid of these fears, blockages, and these faulty messages? And I've discussed a few things during this little chat, and I wish I could just say a magic word and blow it all away and make it stop, right? Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way, but I think being aware of it is what we really need to work on, so that we can try and combat it when it starts happening in our minds. So part of that is being our own advocate, implement practical tools, practice them, affirm ourselves. A lot of us don't have people to affirm us. I say, you are awesome, and you are going to make the right decision. And even if you make a bunch of wrong decisions, that's okay. You got them out of the way. You will eventually make the right decision. And I know it. Confidence building tools, you're specifically directed, you're addressing the attacks. So look for those things that are attacking you, the things that I mentioned earlier, with fear and, anytime something comes across our confidence or makes us question a decision, we need to block that. So let's look at some of these tools. We want to quiet the confidence sapper voice as soon as we recognize it. Whoops, sorry guys. We want to, watch for these things, watch for the fear to creep in, watch for what is going to be demobilizing us or causing us to question. As soon as we recognize it, we've got to tell it, no, go away. Mistakes are part of life. We are supposed to make them. Even when I teach math, tell the students, you try, you make an error, make a mistake, you'll learn. You have to learn from it. That's the key. You learn what you did wrong, and then you try again. And this is the cycle of life. So the whole thing where is, well, I can't make a mistake. Oh, I don't want to get this wrong. Oh, I don't want to look stupid. We have to get things wrong. We have to look stupid, and making the mistakes is okay. And that's life. That's just it. There's no reason to doubt our confidence for that, because everyone does it. And don't let anyone kid you. They absolutely do. They're just not showing it because they're confident. So it's like the confident people are okay with the mistakes. And that's what those that are lacking the confidence need to practice. Positive self-talk. Replace any confidence sapper themes with positive self-talk. Everyone makes a mistake. You don't have to dwell on it. Write it down what the mistake was. Learn from it. Give yourself 10 minutes. Move on. Don't think about it again. Then, tool 3, asking what it is that we are afraid of. Challenge the truth of fear. We have to walk through the fear. What the likelihood is the fear would be realized. What's so bad about looking stupid? You think everybody else doesn't look stupid? Of course they do. But they're not. We're not really stupid. We use this word, oh, it's just an error. It's just a different way of thinking. That's all it is. We can evaluate being afraid, letting these little things stop us from living, or trying it and walking through the fear. So that's really what we need to balance. Notice when we are comparing ourselves to others and stop the habit. And this is where particularly I find television, media, the social media, we're looking at pictures of other people. Oh, they look so happy. Why aren't I happy? Or, oh, they look so thin. Why aren't I as thin? Oh, they have such nice things. Why don't I have nice things? While it's lovely to want to be in touch, and maybe, just with close friends or a family member, see, oh, you went to the beach or you went on vacation, how wonderful, but it's because we end up comparing ourselves, and it can lead us to feeling badly. And I say, don't do anything that's going to make you feel badly. You want to be really conscious of those things. Don't let other people's opinions have so much influence on us. Easier said than done. I realize that. Don't get into the habit or break the habit of wondering what other people think. Try to avoid, the need to want to know or have input from other people. All that matters at the end of the day is our own opinions. Let's see. So risk believing that things will turn out positively and move forward. So we can be like, well, maybe it won't work, but maybe it will. So let's believe that it's going to turn out positively and just go on. Whether it does or not, disregard it, learn if you have to, and just move forward. Know that we can pull ourselves back up. We can say, hey, I knocked fear down by trying something new. And just know that you can, that means you can try again. We have resolve. We can make a comeback. And, if it doesn't go as planned, we can take a different course. We can try again. Learn to laugh at ourselves. Be like, I made a mistake. Whatever. And then any success, celebrated. I always say definitely write down those successes as much as you write down your complaints. Think about, don't just sit and ruminate or dwell on things that went wrong. Definitely be proud of yourself for what went right. And that's really going to make a difference, because we do things right and we shouldn't sit and think that we do everything wrong. All right. So I thank you for your time. And do we have any questions? Marley, do you have any questions or anything else? Anything that I can help you with?
No, it was really great. Thank you.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to stop the share now. And then I'll stop the recording.